What's up? My name is Alexa. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Plug YM. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And comment your story. I want to hear y'all's story in the comments. So let's get into it.
Is the plug.
So today I'm going to share a story on how I got a second chance at life. It was a Sunday afternoon. I had a great day, went out with my friends and everybody was getting home. I was the last one to get home. I still remember the GPS telling me I was literally 3 minutes away from home. So it was my green light. I was driving pretty slow. Teenagers, we do like to speed a lot. We get fast cars and we put it in sports mode and we get excited. But I specifically remember me maybe going 20 miles per hour. So it was my green light. I was going straight, and some lady on my left side, she had ran the red light, and I just remember her looking and her just going really, really fast. She had a darker car, like a darker colored car. I had a red car. So I feel like that it was so dark that sometimes you can't really see what's coming. So you know how we learn to be defensive drivers. So if I would have seen her coming, I probably would have hit the brakes. But I'm thinking it's a green light. You don't have to look both sides to cross the street when you're driving, right? So I was just going straight, and she had actually T-boned me almost at my door. She was so close to my door. And my car completely turned around. Her car went in the other direction as well. It was an extremely bad crash. So it went so fast. Whenever people ask me, what did you see? What do you remember? I remember everything specifically, actually. I didn't lose any memory of it because sometimes you get the same picture in your head and you get afraid to go behind the wheel again after that. So the crash happened. It was so fast. I just remember sitting there, like sitting still. Both the airbags had went off and my whole body almost, thank God I had my seatbelt on. Thank God for having a seatbelt on. My whole body almost like shifted forward. I didn't really hit my head on anything, but I remember my neck just feeling really weird. So at first I was in so much shock that I didn't really feel much pain at all. I thank God that nothing really happened to me. I had no scratches, absolutely nothing happened to me. But I remember sitting there, and it's like your whole life, like all of the hard work and like dedication you put into your dreams, it's like, was all that really worth it? Was going to a certain party or hanging with these certain people even worth it? Was it even worth my time to argue with that person? And just like, you feel like, oh, I could have done more. I could have done something differently. Or I should have never even went out that night, I remember I put it in my calendar saying that night I was gonna actually do some scholarships, and I had the Monday to do it too. I had that day off. So I told my friends, let's just go out. Fine, I'll go out. But I remember specifically designating that day to do schoolwork, and I decided to go out because we want to be happy, we want to live our life, but sometimes priorities have to come first. So I decided to just go out with my friends. And you see, some situations you have to just trust your gut. If you plan not to go out, don't go out. So after that crash, I really just sat there. It was so fast, and I just remember smelling the smoke. I could really, if we had that same smell somewhere, I can remember everything that happened. So it was just smoke coming out of the car. My car was completely totaled. So it almost actually hit my door, and the door was not stuck, but I was stuck, if that makes any sense. I didn't know exactly what to think or what to do because I've never been in a situation like this. I was the only one in the car. Thank God nobody else would have been there to get hurt. But both the airbags went off, and then there was an electrical thing that just exploded in the car. So it was almost like a firework that was right next to me that just went off. So at this moment, it's like, do I move and the car explodes? Or do I sit here and wait for someone to come and help me outside of this car? So while I'm on the phone with 911, I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. I've never even been in a car accident in my life, so I don't know the procedures to take. All they tell us is to call 911. So as I call 911, they tell me to calm down and they're coming soon, but it took them about 5 minutes to get there. So at this point, we watch a lot of action movies and we're like, they start running from the fire, and in this is a real life situation. So you don't know, you have to think quick. Should you move outside of this car or lose your life in this car? So then, thank God, there was somebody walking down the street. The man told me that he did not see the crash, but he heard the crash. So he said that he started panicking because nobody was coming outside of the car. The crash was so fast and so big that he didn't know if he wanted to come and help me or if he wanted to stay away, because we didn't know if it was going to be a hazard or something that was going to happen. So he opens the door and literally carries me outside of the car, and he's just telling me to calm down. So I'm sitting on the sidewalk, I'm looking at the car, and it's making me even sadder. It's just a feeling that I can't really explain, but I really felt like somebody was with me, and I can't really explain because I was by myself. But honestly, I believe God was, or an angel was in the passenger seat, because nothing happened to me. That crash was so fast, and they never told me how fast she was going, but I could estimate her going maybe 80 miles per hour. I'm not sure if she was under the influence and she ran the red light, but I remember reading in the police report that she was distracted. She was looking at something else, a Quick Trip that was right there in that corner, and she ran that red light. So if I really never went out that night, if I really trusted, my instincts, my gut, my schedule, but I just thank God for being there with me. Honestly, it was a feeling that, I don't know, for 10 minutes I was really by myself. I called my parents, they were on the way. I called a friend that was at the top of my call log. I accidentally called him actually, and he lived right down the street, and he came and helped me. But it's a feeling that you can't explain until you're in that situation. And then I went to the hospital. They asked me if I wanted to ride in the ambulance or I wanted to ride, in my parents' car. At that time, I was in so much shock that they told me that I wasn't going to feel the pain. Until I was in the ambulance is when I completely I just shut down. It was like a computer that was rebooting. I completely shut down. People were speaking to me, and it felt like I was in another world, like I was not on Earth. I completely shut down and I was shaking, is what my parents were telling me. It's like you have a panic attack. I've never really been, having panic attacks or diagnosed with anything in that sort. But at that time, I just felt like this was the end. And being 17 and having that feeling at such early age, you just want to change your lifestyle and be a better you. Because I honestly feel like it was a second chance. That whole situation woke me up. We have to get closer to God. Even in the circumstances that we are in a pandemic, a lot of psychologists think that we're going to go into a quarantine depression. And being at home, honestly, around, you're not around your people. You're not around people to uplift you. You have to uplift yourself. And that whole situation just woke me up and told me that I have to do better. Not only for me, but for the children that I don't have yet, or for my parents, or for my brothers, or for your siblings, or people that you influence. So this whole situation, I thank God for allowing me to go through this. And a lot of people think that's very crazy for me to lose my car in the same day that, I feel like I worked very, very hard for its fund. And being in physical therapy, being the chiropractor 3 times a week, I had to see a therapist. Certain things like that, people are like, they would break down. But I thank God for making me so strong that you and me, we can go through these things and uplift others. We can inspire others, because everything in your life happens for a reason. Everything, absolutely everything. So at that moment when I was in that ambulance, they took my blood pressure, asked me if I was okay. I had to get a couple scans on my legs. The doctor and everything told me, they checked if I had any fractures or anything. And the doctor actually proceeded to tell me before we were leaving that if I was going maybe 5 miles per hour, a little bit faster, in that same second, if that car would have hit my door, I would have been paralyzed from the waist down. So just hearing that, it almost breaks you at a certain moment, because if, at that second, you could have lost a lot of things. You could have lost the ability to play sport, the ability to, maneuver by yourself. And I just had that chance to be okay. And a lot of people lose their lives in car accidents every single day from distracting, on their phones, playing loud music. And I thank God for the situation because I became a better driver from that. And everyone says that after a car accident, you become a defensive driver. But until you really experience it is when you're like, wow, like I really should listen to my parents. Wow, I really should not go here. Or I really should, think 3 times before I drive there. Or think, a couple times before I ride in the car with this person. So being in that situation when I was in the hospital, I was quiet. I remember being quiet for about 45 minutes. I did not speak to anybody. People were asking me questions. I remember the nurse was asking me questions, but it's like I wanted to speak, but my lips were not moving. It was just really, honestly, I feel like it was an encounter with me and God. And being in that hospital bed, I never thought that at 17 I would be in a hospital bed. I was completely healthy all my life. I never really thought that would be me. And I've seen a lot of people getting in car accidents, and I've heard about a lot of car accidents, but that was actually my biggest fear, getting into a car accident. And I know I have a smile on my face now, but I feel like I've overcame that situation. I've overcame that biggest fear, and now I can proceed to be a better person and to inspire others. So then again, when I was in the hospital bed, I just wanted to talk to God. Honestly, at that point, I didn't want to speak to anybody because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do at all. They checked everything, and as soon as I went into getting a scan, I feel like I broke down again in front of the doctor, and she was asking me if I was okay, and she was like, I know that at your age it's a lot to take in at the same time, because I had just turned 17 actually. So it's very hard to explain at some points, to put my words together, but I just thank God for taking me through this journey, and for many journeys more. My friends always tell me, and I've always had this mindset, that He's always gonna bring His strongest warriors to the toughest battles. So that was definitely one of the toughest battles I've already encountered at 17. But I thank God for, pushing you. You may have went through a situation like that, but I'm telling you here, I don't have any scratches on my body. I don't have anything fractured. I'm still alive, and I thank God every single day for it. So this might be your second chance at life. You watching me and hearing my story today, that may be your second chance. Maybe you don't have to go through the struggles that everybody else goes, that your family has been through, but it's your day to change today. It's your day to become closer to God. It's your day to repent and ask for forgiveness, because the only person you can really depend on is God. My parents weren't there at that time, at that car accident. My friends weren't there. It was really just me and God. He's the only one that can take you places, and the only one that will continue to bless you. And sometimes you need to put a halt. You need to put a stop. Don't start thinking, oh, the devil did this, and I may not be worthy enough for His forgiveness. No, God allows certain situations for you to open your eyes. Sometimes advice from people is just not enough. Sometimes hearing even my story is not enough. You have to go through those struggles to actually become the person that you were called to be. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe once again. And thank y'all for hearing my story.